Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Commissioner meeting this morning. And before we start, we always ask for a prayer. And today we have David Tennant from Owensville United Methodist Church. Thank you for coming again.
My pleasure. Join me in a moment of prayer. Heavenly Father, we give you thanks for this day. And yes, it is a warm one, but we give you thanks that we have this day. That does not assure us that we may see the end of it, because we do not know when we will take our last breath. So we should cherish the time that we have. And Father, for this day, for the work that you have us do, some of that which is checking on people in our family and neighbors, people we don't know, particularly through this heat spell, so that we would be your ambassadors of love and peace, particularly in this world that is turbulent and at odds and division, that we would be that, as I call, a commercial for Christ to our loved ones, to our family. And again, that we would be peace, as Philippians mentions about peace that surpasses all understanding. And Father, I pray that for each one of us, that more than seeking it as if we're looking for something, that we would be that peace to someone's, particularly in our family and around. But again, this day we give you thanks for how you love us. Amen.
Thank you. Mr. Corcoran, you want to lead us in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay. Before we start today, I would like to excuse Commissioner Painter from the meeting today. Okay. Item B is approval of the regular session minutes of June 18th, 2025. Do I have a motion to approve?
I'll make the motion.
I will second. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Batchelor? Oh,
Yes.
excuse me.
Oops.
Commissioner Corcoran? You always do it.
I know.
Commissioner Corcoran?
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor?
Yes. Thank you. Item C, we have a presentation by Chip. He did show up. We didn't know if you were going to. President of the Government Strategy Group, Women Helping Women. The podium is yours, sir.
Well, I will be very brief, Commissioner. Thank you. My name is Chip Gerhardt. I am not the main event here. With us is representatives from Women Helping Women, who do phenomenal work here in Clermont County and throughout southwestern Ohio. And they wanted to give a presentation about what's going on here and things to come. So I appreciate you giving us some time. And I will invite the team to come on up in whatever order you see fit. Thank you.
Thank you.
Make sure you introduce yourself so we all know who you are.
Good morning. My name is Davina Cooper, and I am the Senior Director of 24-Hour Programming at Women Helping Women. As Chip said, we do serve the Southwest region in Ohio, so that covers Butler, Hamilton, Clermont, Brown, and Adams County.
Good morning. My name's Amber Millard. I'm the Vice President of Programming with Women Helping Women.
Good morning. My name is Kristen Smith-Shrimplin, President and CEO of Women Helping Women.
Again, we do thank you for your time. The purpose of our visit here today is to just go over some of the services that we provide to residents of Clermont County, to discuss our agency as a whole, and to continue to work towards communication, collaboration within the communities we serve. As you mentioned before we officially went on the record, it's been a while since we've been here, so we just have kind of been trying to check in with everybody from a strategic standpoint, but more personally, just from a friendly, collaborative standpoint. So as I said, I'm the Senior Director of 24-Hour Programming. Within that encompasses the Director of Rural Services. Now, as you all are aware, there are aspects of Clermont County that is rural, but the county itself inherently isn't rural based off census tracking and things like that, in the same way that Adams County is and parts of Brown. That still falls under my purview, though, as the Director of Rural Services, because Clermont is so vast, it's so expansive. And it's very hard when you get out of the inner realms of Batavia or Eastgate area to convince people who are down on the river or in Williamsburg area that they're not in rural places. So it's very nuanced, as I'm sure you can imagine. We work with survivors of sexual assault, domestic violence, and stalking. We are the only rape crisis center in Southwest Ohio, so that makes us a dual service agency. When we say dual service, that just means that domestic violence piece along with that sexual assault piece. So all of our services are fully comprehensive. Everything that we do is 100% free. It's 100% confidential. We are physically located in Clermont County, which is something that we have been very proud to have established. We have served residents of Clermont County, quite frankly, for a very long time in an informal capacity through our 24-hour hotline. And then in 2020, we started keeping track of what those service numbers look like through hotline services, through court accompaniment if folks called our hotline and wanted additional services. So when we say that we opened up formal services to Clermont, what that looks like as a partnership through Mercy Health and Health Path that started in 2024. So since that time, we have actually been co-located with the Little Fork Family and Child Advocacy Center, which I'm sure many of you in the room are familiar with, Scott O'Reilly's office at the back of Mercy Hospital. So we do have 2 advocates that provide services to Clermont County residents in that space. We also have a rural program supervisor. We have a rural engagement coordinator. And then we also have myself overseeing from the director's vantage point the services in general across the county. In 2020, when we started collecting data, we realized that we had served 92 survivors in that informal capacity from Clermont County. By 2023, that number had grown to over 130 survivors and accounted for about 500 services. So just to put that number in perspective, as of yesterday, June 24th, we have already served 95 survivors in Clermont County with 330 services. So I feel confident. I've done this job for a very long time. I feel confident that those numbers are going to more than double by the end of the year. And we will definitely be back to keep you guys abreast of all of that. We have our services that I mentioned that are free. We talked about the court accompaniment piece. We do hospital accompaniment, so 24/7. If somebody shows up to Clermont Mercy right here in Batavia and they are disclosing domestic violence injuries, sexual assault, if through conversation with the nurse or triage, they discover that maybe they need some help with interpersonal violence or something that's taken place outside of the hospital setting, of course, then we have an advocate that gets dispatched 24/7. So that advocate's going to come out. They're going to safety plan with the survivor, the patient, the client, however you want to refer to them in that space. And we're going to work with them. Everything we do is survivor led. So we want to make sure that we're showing up in real time to say, hey, we see you, we believe you, this isn't okay, and how can we help you to move forward? Because they don't just need to be discharged back into their home that may be dangerous or back somewhere else without any formal support of the trauma that they've just experienced. So we have that court accompaniment piece, that hospital accompaniment piece. I've spoke about our 24 hotline very briefly. We do operate that in all 5 counties we serve. We also are able to track that it does, since it operates as a 24/7 hotline, it does capture folks, not just in the 5 counties we serve in Ohio, but all across the state and then even across the country. But those are real advocates that have gone through the training and the background checks and the trauma-informed sensitivity education that they need. It's not like a third-party based contracted system that answers our hotline. Those are women helping women employees. We do also provide safety mechanisms for survivors aside from the court piece. When you're talking about protection orders, we can do cameras, we can do phones. A lot of times survivors will decide that they do want to leave and they don't know where to start. So we generally just start with the dialogue of what does this look like to you? And then here are some things that we can help and we can assist with that maybe you haven't thought about, like birth certificates, medication. How do we keep track of that stuff? How do we apply to get new stuff? And that's something that our agency is also able to help with in what we call a client assistance fund. So that within that client assistance, we are removing barriers for survivors that traditionally we had seen in the past and other agencies like ours had seen in the past to prevent them from leaving. We can pay driver's license reinstatement fees. We can provide those Ring cameras, those cell phones. If somebody has a Duke bill that is, it's behind a couple of months and they can't turn on new service at a new residence because this Duke bill is in their name, or they have a bad history with utility companies, we can make those payments for them. So that is something that we knew as an agency was causing a lot of barriers for survivors. Maybe we were seeing that survivors were leaving, and then within 6 months they were going back to their abuser, which is statistically speaking going to happen. But also too, when we started breaking that down to look at the reasons why it was happening, it was because 3 months would go by, 4 months would go by, and then all of a sudden there was that overdue rent payment or that mortgage payment or the insurance, or a kid got sick and there's medical bills, right? So we started securing donations for this client assistance fund. And last year we kind of rolled it out into full effect. So when we expanded our services into Clermont County, it was March. So when I'm talking about last year's numbers, it wasn't even a full calendar year. But for last year, we had 19 survivors in Clermont County that received some sort of client assistance fund that totaled almost $20,000. So that is just, free. There's no payback for that. We don't cause them. There's not an application process that's arduous for them to fill out in order to obtain this client assistance. We're just simply trying to remove barriers, and we're finding that it's working. So I think I've spoke enough about the services, although I could go on all day about that because I don't think it's ever really enough. And I'm going to turn it over to Amber, our Vice President of Programming, so she can talk about the prevention side of things of the work we do.
Thank you.
Thank you, Davina, and thank you for your time this morning, commissioners. As I mentioned, I'm Amber Malott, the Vice President of Programming with Women Helping Women. As far as our prevention programs and services, we really want to complement the things that we're doing that Davina spoke of intervention-wise. And our prevention programs are all tailored to try to stop abuse and the cycle of violence before it stops, or if it's disrupted, prevent it from occurring again. One of the most famous things that we're known for in our service areas are our prevention programs that tailor to students in grades 7 through 12. We have a 5-day program called Prevent and Empower, and it focuses on helping students build empathy and compassion, being able to communicate assertively, set boundaries, understanding how to be safe online, so that they're not abusing other folks online, or if they are being put at risk through the contact and communication that they may be having with others, that they know how to activate resources to try to protect them, as well as understanding how consent can come into healthy relationships, giving them the courage to understand what consent looks like as they begin to think about dating relationships, and then activating bystander intervention strategies so that if they see violence occurring at school, in their home, in the community, wherever they are, they know how that they can find a way to safely do something to be able to intervene. So far, we have expanded our program to Clermont County schools and served West Clermont. We've also served New Richmond, and recently, we were in Bethel Tate for the first time. We have a former history of working with Milford, and we need to reestablish some relationships there so we can get into those schools. But we plan to do targeted outreach with this new coming school year so that we can make sure that we're providing that educational opportunity and information to students, regardless of the zip code or whatever school that they attend. As far as other community kind of trainings that we do in education in hopes to prevent violence, we will be at your beck and call at any community group to provide any particular information that's needed around dating violence, domestic violence, sexual assault, or stalking. And we can tailor that towards the community of focus. So, for example, foster parents. We'll work closely with foster parents to tell them whatever it is that they may need to know, an example of how to, support teens that may be experiencing violence, how the impact of domestic violence may harm children's behavior, why they may be seeing, problematic behaviors, and how they can safely support and intervene so that they can break the cycle of violence and promote healthy relationships with the youth that they're in contact with. We also offer a training called Work Strong for our corporate partners. And that is, as Davina mentioned, financial barriers are a main reason that folks stay in abusive relationships. So if we can do anything to work with employers locally to let them know the loss that violence creates to their bottom line, that's our ambition and intention. And we want to be there so that they can understand that they can build policies that will support folks who may be experiencing violence so they can keep their jobs. If they need to go to a counseling appointment, if they need to go to other medical appointments, or take their children to appointments because they've been abused or witnessed abuse and experienced trauma, that they have the policies and support built in to their workplace so that they can take that time and not be punished and still maintain their employment and not have that barrier of the financial hardships that would keep them returning to an abusive situation. We also work very closely working with many community partners in the area. Little Fork Clinic, as Davina mentioned, Mercy Hospital. We were a part of the Family and Children First Council and the Safety Net Alliance. Interfaith, Interparish Ministries has been a huge support system to us. We really are wanting to work more closely with UC Clermont as well to make sure that our services are accessible to students, knowing that, students in that age range, college age range, are predispositioned for exposure to violence. So we want them to know that our resources are accessible when they are needed. So it takes community partnerships for us to do the work that we're doing, and we're so thankful for the ones that we have and hopeful that we will be able to really plant roots and expand those partnerships so that we can make everyone aware of the services that we offer, reduce stigmas for folks thinking that this is a private situation that they have to deal with on their own, and make sure that they know how to reach out and contact us for the supports that are needed. And with that, I will let Kristen kind of close us out.
And I'll just keep this really brief. Thank you so much for your time. And as I was thinking about everything they just reported on, and I was thinking about the prayer, which I really appreciate, you talked about being an ambassador of peace. We're not a religious organization, but I think that really sums up what Women Helping Women is trying to do and manifest and show up in the community as an ambassador of peace, because the nearly 8,500 survivors we served last year in all 5 counties, and you heard a snapshot of what that's looked like in Clermont County. The folks we serve aren't experiencing peace. They just simply aren't. That's why we've been in existence for 51 years. And yes, we've only formally been in Clermont County since March 4th last year. But we've been informally showing up for 20 years. And really how I want to close out is just say, this is about relationships. This is about collaboration. This is about community. This is about safety in the center. This is really, truly about all of us partnering together to be ambassadors of peace. And I want to commit to you on behalf of our agency, those we serve, 110 of our employees, all 15 board members, that we are continuing to stay in Clermont County. We're not going anywhere. We're only going to grow. And we will come back more often and have more updates and conversations. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Thank you all for coming, and thank you for the wonderful work that you do. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on. Lyle Bloom, you have a presentation for us today?
Good morning. I'm Lyle Bloom, Director with the Clermont County Water Resources Department. I also have Chris Rowland sitting up here in front. He's the Assistant Sanitary Engineer, and Karen Myers sitting in back as our Fiscal Administrator. I'm going to be presenting our 5-year capital improvement plan for our water and wastewater capital improvement projects. We update this plan every year. usually about this time, sometimes earlier in the year, but it kind of gives an overview of the projects we have planned over the next 5 years. I'm not going to go through all the projects, just some of the more active projects, and then touch on our funding sources at the end of for each section for water and sewer. I don't have control of the slides. Oh, there.
Oh, I know. You have to
Here to
work,
start,
Lyle. You have to work for it.
I'm going to use my left hand. First is our water capital improvements, our water capital improvement plan. We have a total of 64 projects identified in that total just under $118 million over the 5 years. 12 of those are water tank rehabilitation projects, so that would be painting projects, things of that nature. 21 are water main replacement projects. 9 are water main extension or capacity improvement projects. 5 are petition and assessment projects. 14 are treatment plant improvement projects. We have 3 water treatment plants in our water system, and then 3 are other miscellaneous type projects. So I'm going to talk a little bit about some of those specific projects that we're working on right now. The first we have under construction right now on is the 9-mile Bradbury transmission main. It's about 9,200 feet of 12-inch water main. It's going from Bradbury and across 9 Mile up to the Davis Road intersection with 9 Mile. So there's a lot of impact to traffic out there right now. And we appreciate everyone's patience as we construct this. We plan for the project to be complete by the end of this year. The project is about a $2.7 million project, and this is going to help move water up into the Cherry Grove area of our distribution system. The next couple water main replacement projects, we have the White Oak Road Phase 1 project, which we just wrapped up the installation of the water main itself. That was from Beeheimer to Merwin 10 Mile. That replaced a 1954 12-inch water main. We upsized that to a 16-inch main. Right now, the road is closed. The engineer's office is working on replacing culverts, and I think next week they're going to work on paving.
Oh, good.
We've had a lot of complaints on the condition of the asphalt after the water main went in. And so hopefully residents will be happy once it's completely repaved. The bid amount on that was $2.8 million. The next is the Phase 2, right? White Oak Road Phase 2, currently working on easement acquisition. That will go from Merwin 10 Mile all the way to 125. We'll replace about 5,600 feet of the 1954 12-inch with 16-inch main. It is partially funded with OPWC grant funding in the amount of $1 million. Again, design's complete. We'll plan to bid that the second half of this year and then construct in 2025 and 2026. Estimated cost is about $3.5 million. And I think the engineer's office will come in after that too as well and repave that half too after we're done. More water main replacement projects that we have that are active. Branch Hill Miamiville Part 1 from Front Street down in Miamiville up to Booster 1. The construction just wrapped up on that earlier this year. That was a $3.1 million project. Branch Hill Miamiville Part 2 that's under construction. That's from Booster 1 up to Branch Hill Guinea. So that'll cross under 275 and go up to Branch Hill Guinea. It's about 5,900 feet of 1959 10-inch that we'll be replacing with 12-inch. Plan that for that to be complete early next year. And that also has $1 million in OPWC grant funding associated with it. The last is the Branch Hill Guinea Road water main replacement. This will really replace the remainder of the 1950s era water line that's along Branch Hill Guinea. We've replaced a lot of it in coordination with different TID projects. So this will replace about 9,000 feet of that remaining water line. It's 1959. Replace it with 12-inch. Short section of Winfield Drive off of Branch Hill Guinea we're going to replace as well as part of that. Begin construction next year and has an estimated cost of $3.4 million. We're still trying to wrap up a few easements on that project. The Amelia Olive Branch water main replacement, that will replace from Clough Pike north to Old State Route 74. It's about 7,500 feet of 1954 8-inch. We'll replace that with 12-inch. We're working on design. We plan to construct that in 2026 and 2027. It has an estimated cost of $1.9 million. Also, Chapel Road, and let me jump back to Amelia Olive Branch. I think the plan is after that, the engineer's office has paving projects associated with Amelia Olive Branch, and they'll come in after that and do some paving as well. Chapel Road, we're replacing the main on Chapel from 125 to about 1,500 feet east of Amelia Park Drive. So it's about 5,000 feet of 1954 6-inch water main. We're replacing with 12-inch. Design's about complete, and we plan to construct that next year. It has an estimated cost of $1.4 million. So we're replacing a lot of water mains.
Yeah, you are.
They need it. So old State Route 32, that's west of Zagar to Half Acre, replaces about 4,300 feet of 1968 10-inch. Although it's an older main, we don't have a ton of breaks there, but we have capacity restrictions, so that we're replacing that 10-inch with 16-inch. We plan to bid that later this year and construct it and begin construction later this year and wrap it up next year. Estimated cost of $1.8 million. So that'll kind of help move water from our BMW treatment plant up in that area into the Afton area where we're seeing a lot of growth. Old State Route 74 water main replacement. That's going to replace from Clermont to Eastgate Boulevards. We'll be on both sides of 275 there. We'll replace about 3,600 feet of 1954 8-inch with 12-inch. We plan to bid that this year, construction beginning later this year and wrap it up next year. Has an estimated cost of $1.3 million. And that the TID project we're coordinating with a TID project there, so they'll come in and do some road widening and paving work after we're done with that. Water tank rehabilitation projects. We're going to be painting this year the buckwheat tank, which is on 131 at the intersection of buckwheat.
It's already started, hasn't it?
Yeah, yep. I haven't driven by it in a while, but it's under contract. So hopefully by the end of the year, you'll see the new paint on that and the new logo. The Day Heights tank, which is right by Milford High School. I saw that a lot, dropping my son off at swim practice there. So it'll be nice to see that one repainted. The next is the Miamiville tank, and that one's very visible from I-275. That one's under contract as well. So all three of those will be painted this year. And then we're going to be doing the inspection and evaluation on the Booster 3 tank, the Owensville tank, and the State Route 131 tank this year, with plans to paint those in 2027. The 131 tank, it's a small tank. I think it's a 100,000 gallon tank. We'll also evaluate that to see if it's even necessary. We may end up just removing it completely. All right, so funding for our water system, and I do apologize. I found a typo on this earlier that we didn't get captured into the slide. So I'll touch on that. But so from 2025 through 2029, we have planned improvements totaling $65.4 million. The 10 biggest projects total about $41.3 million, or 63% of the total 5-year plan. Available funding we have is $46.4 million. So we are short about $19 million on that. And that's where some of the typos occur. I think it says $12.5 million there. It's actually, we're closer to $19 million that we're underfunded. The current funding does include $2.84 million in OPWC grant funding and $174,000 in local ARPA funding that we had attributed to some of the projects. So again, we're underfunded about $19 million. This does not include any future grants or loans that we could have to close that gap. Any tax increment financing, TIF funds that were planned in the Afton area as part of the new development that's going on out there. Those have not been included in this. And there are several projects that are intended to help with growth out there that those funds would help reduce our deficit. Also increased revenue from any large users that we may get in the Afton area. There's a lot of big customers that would be coming in, which would increase revenue. Future rate increases. So in 2020, we started our first of five consecutive year rate increases. Our last rate increase that has been approved was effective May 1st. We don't have any approved for any future years, but we do anticipate presenting to the board with some recommended water and sewer rate increases for future years. I will say the rate study, and you've probably heard me say this before, that was completed in 2019, pre-COVID, pre all the unanticipated inflation, everything. So a lot of the assumptions that were used in our rate study weren't accurate. I think it assumed 3% inflation every year. Obviously, we saw a lot more inflation than that 3%. And then last but not least, it does not include any increases to our capacity fees. So those are fees that when a new customer comes in and they want to connect to water and sewer, they pay a fee, a tap-in fee, a lot of people call it. It does not include any increases to that, but we do anticipate increasing those this year. Karen's been working on some of those, maybe somewhat of a significant increase. We're quite behind some of the local neighboring counties, so that will help with those increases, will help fund our gap in funding. So before I move on to the wastewater capital plan, are there any questions on the water side of things? Nope. Okay. On the wastewater capital improvement plan, we have 52 projects that total just over $112 million. 15 are sewer replacement projects, 3 are sewer rehab projects. 10 are lift station projects. Those would either be lift station upgrades, replacing pumps, panels, generators, and then some are actually lift station elimination projects where we're able to construct gravity sewer that allows for the elimination of the lift station. 5 are sewer extension projects, 4 are sewer petition and assessment projects. 7 of those are wastewater treatment plant projects. Those could be renovation or wastewater treatment plant expansions. And then 8 we've put into the other project category. So some of the wastewater treatment plant projects that we're working on, and these are some of the larger cost projects that we have in the plan. The Lower East Fork wastewater treatment plant improvement projects. The goal of this project is really to increase our wet weather treatment capacity at the Lower East Fork plant. We're not intended to get a lot of water into our collection system, but like every other community across the country, when it rains, we get water into our sanitary sewers. So we need to be able to convey those to the plant and treat that extraneous flow. We're working on design right now, and we plan to complete that in 2026. Construction to begin late 2026, and it'll be about a 2-year construction project. It has an estimated cost of $25 million for that project. And then that's just going to increase our wet weather treatment capacity, but it's not going to increase our rated treatment, like daily dry weather flow capacity that we're permitted to treat. So we have a project to expand that from 9 million gallons a day to 14 million gallons a day. Plan to begin to design, and the design and construction phase of that is in our 2030 and beyond. That's in our capital plan. So it's not necessarily in our 5-year window, but that's a big project. We'll certainly need to look at loan funding for that. It has an estimated cost of $49 million. So that's one of our bigger projects there. Sewer replacement projects. So we've been directed by Ohio EPA to look at reducing sanitary sewer overflows in our Hall Run collection system. Primarily, they're doing wet weather rain events, heavy rain events. Again, too much rainwater gets into the collection system. So we have 2 sections of Hall Run trunk sewer that we plan to replace. They're kind of high. It's hard to see. They're on either side of 275, but Hall Run is tributary to the Lower East Fork treatment plant. So in order for us to be able to treat it at the treatment plant, we need to increase the wet weather capacity there and then increase the pipe sizes to get to the plant. So that's about 2,700. The downstream section, which is on the east side of 275, It's about 2,700 feet of 24 inch. It will increase to 42 inch in size. And 18 inch that will go to 24 inch. And that was all installed in 1977. We'll begin design this year, plan to construct in 2027 and 2008 and in 2028, excuse me, and has an estimated cost of $2.4 million. The upstream section, which is on the west side of 275, up kind of north of 32, west of 275 in the Mount Carmel area, vaguely. It's about 9,400 feet of 15-inch sewer that will increase to 24-inch in diameter, and then some 12-inch that will go to 18-inch. And that was all installed in 1965. So again, just jumping back to the Hall Run trunk sewer, a lot of that sewer was installed in different phases as little package plants were built. As that part of the county developed in the 60s, the developers built little package plants, and then the county came in the 70s and built a trunk sewer to eliminate all those little package plants and convey it to a regional treatment plant, which is the Lower East Fork treatment plant. So that's kind of how all those projects or all those sewers came to be. We plan to begin design in 2026 and start construction in 2028, and then wrap it up in 2029. Has an estimated cost of $4.7 million.
Lyle, all your estimated costs, are you putting it out there a lot higher, thinking of what the cost of materials and everything are going to be in the future? I mean, we're estimating now, but
Some of it, yes, the sums of estimate, because of conditions, we're gonna have to go through easement costs.
okay,
And also some are from our consultant too. If it was for the Lower East Fork treatment plant, they did preliminary estimating, and so they went in and did through their companies and their regional, everything else, got their numbers.
Okay.
They did take into account for some of those 2 years out, 4 years out.
That's
Thank
one of the reasons why we do try to update this every
Yeah.
year. Many times you'll see when we're awarding a contract, construction contract, the construction contract came in less than our estimates too.
okay.
So they tend to fluctuate, and sometimes
Right.
it's hard to project
Target,
5 years
exactly.
out.
Especially with chemicals and everything else, like we found that, okay.
So
Thank you.
Lyle, you better hit the lottery, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, if we
Well.
could place.
As he runs away. Go ahead.
Wastewater treatment plant projects that we have some additional. So the other big one is Middle East Fork wastewater treatment plant improvements. That is currently under construction. This is renovations to screening, grit removal. We're going to put in a new septage receiving station. So all the septic haulers in the county, when they come and they pump out someone's septic tank, they take it to our Middle East Fork treatment plant. We do charge them for to dump the waste there, but we're going to put in a new station for them to discharge to. It should make things better for the septic haulers and for our staff as well to deal with that. Construction on that will be complete by the end of 2026. The bid amount on that was $11.35 million. Total project cost was $12.6 million. We did have some other ARPA grant funding and an ODOD grant that we received to help offset some of those costs. The next is a planned expansion of the plant. So the improvements we're doing now have the expansion built into them. The equipment that we're putting in is sized to help accommodate this expansion. But we plan to expand it from 7.2 million gallons a day to 11 million gallons a day. Additional expanded aeration, additional aeration tanks, clarifiers, disinfection, and then we expect new nutrient limits to be issued by Ohio EPA when we do any expansion. So we've got that built into the cost as well. Plan to begin design on that in 2027, wrap it up in 2028, and then construct through 2029 and 2030. It's got an estimated cost of $20 million, but only $6 million of that is within the 5-year window right now. So the other $14 million is kind of in those out years, but they'll move in as we update this plan every year. Sewer replacement projects. First one we've got is the Legendary Trails project. I'm sure you recall that one. It's a very unique subdivision we have in the county. They have individual on-site septic systems that are considered public sewer infrastructure. They pay a sewer bill just like every other customer, and then we're required to maintain their septic systems. They were put in the late 90s, the majority of them. They've pretty much reached the end of their useful life, as many septic systems do. So we've got a project and it just started construction, or it's just got under contract for construction. Contractor's been in the neighborhood meeting with the property owners to go over it. But we're going to install just under 6,400 feet of low pressure force main, ranging in size from 2 to 4 inch. Each home will have an individual, there's 34 homes. Each home will have an individual grinder pump that will pump their wastewater into this low pressure force main, and will pump up to our traditional gravity sewers, and along Locust Corner Road will be conveyed to our 9 Mile treatment plant for future treatment.
Can I ask you a question? So is that going to permit the other property owners on Locust Corner to be able to hook into this?
We're going to leave connection points for them. If they have access to it, they would be able to connect to it. They'll have to install their own grinder pumps. But yes, we're not going to do all the work to connect them, but
Yeah.
they'll have access.
But they'll have the access.
Yes. Yep.
That's going to make some people very happy.
Sure. Yes. Especially if they're having problems with their septic system.
Yeah.
Yes. So we plan to complete construction of that by the end of this year. The bid amount for that is just over $2,082,000. All right. Other lift station projects we have currently under construction is the Bethel Lift Station EQ project. It's construction of a new 1.5 million gallon flow equalization tank. We're doing modifications to electrical and installing new screening. Design's complete. We'll begin construction. Well, that's a 24. We did. Yeah, it's under contract. So we plan to wrap that project up this year. Bid amount was.
Not wrap it up. They'll be building this year, next year.
Okay. So we're going to complete it in 2026. This is,
Okay,
another typo there. I apologize.
that's all right.
Bid amount was just under 7.5 million. So that lift station, again, we've been directed by EPA to reduce or eliminate sanitary sewer overflows at the lift station. When we get heavy rain events, the Bethel collection system is very old. It's one we inherited from the village. I think parts of it go back into the 40s. So it's some of our oldest sanitary sewers that we maintain. There's some equalization, some wet weather storage that we have there now, but oftentimes the capacity that's exceeded. So we're going to build more capacity, be able to store it there temporarily. And then when the rain subsides and the flows go down, we can continue to pump it down. And eventually it ends up at our Middle East Fork treatment plant here in the village. And it kind of shows, you can see in that picture, the round tank on the east side. That is where the new tank's going. We're going to install some landscaping to help screen it from the neighboring property to the east. But yeah, it should help significantly reduce our overflows that we have there. Wastewater treatment plant projects. We also have the Arrowhead wastewater treatment plant elimination. This is up in Miami Township. It was a small package plant that was built and donated to the county back in the 70s. So we plan to construct a new lift station, force main, and about 3,200 feet of new sanitary sewer that will allow us to eliminate that treatment plant. And then it will be directed to our Wards Corner regional wastewater treatment plant that we constructed in, I think, around 2008. That is going to be bid this summer. We're working on a little bit of redesign there, and construction would be complete next year, and it has an estimated cost of $5.5 million. More sewer replacements. One that we have that we've been working on for several years is the Backbone Creek sewer replacement project. That's about 2,200 feet of new 24-inch sanitary sewer. That not only it's going to create more capacity, it's because we're increasing from 18 to 24. It's going to relocate a sewer that was installed in 1972 that is now, it's being impacted by the stream. The streams eroded the banks. We've had the pipe separate years ago, and it just continues to erode and impact the sanitary sewer. We've got one easement remaining It's actually working through the courts, I believe, right now through the appropriation process. But we'll need that easement to be able to replace the sewer, eliminate the impact to the stream, and create more capacity for all the area east of that, which goes out north of 32, and the whole Afton area will be affected by that project. So it has an estimated cost of $1.8 million. Again, plan to construct that once we get the one easement. Also in that area, just upstream from the Backbone Creek project, is the Hartman Lane sewer replacement. That will replace about 5,200 feet of 24-inch. We're going to construct 5,200 feet of 24-inch to replace an existing 15-inch and 18-inch. Those were both installed in the 70s. And again, it's going to create more capacity for all the anticipated development out 32. That's under design, and we plan to start construction of that in 2027. And it has an estimated cost of $3.5 million. Also, more sewer replacements. We've got a lot of capacity needs in our collection system. There's a lot of development going on in the county, as I'm sure you can tell. So we're working in the O'Bannon trunk sewer up in Goshen area. The O'Bannon trunk sewer phase 1 will replace about 13,500 feet of 15-inch and 18-inch sewer. It's going to replace existing 8-inch, 10-inch, and 12-inch. We're going to be putting in new 15 and 18 to replace 8, 10, and 12 that was installed in 1982. It's under design. We plan to be complete in 2026 with the design, and construction start in 2027. And it has an estimated cost of $5.1 million. So funding on the sewer capital plan. We have a total of just over $112 million in planned improvements over the next 5 years. The 10 biggest projects total about $82.1 million of that. So it's a large majority of it. Available funding right now is we only have $60 million available. That includes $6.9 million in ARPA funding and ODOD funding that I mentioned earlier. The ODOD funding was all for the Middle East Fork project. So we're about just over $52 million underfunded. Again, we're going to have to focus on additional grant funds, loan funds for some of the bigger projects. It does not include any TIF funding for Afton area improvements that we've discussed. Again, increased revenue from any large users that would go in, and future rate increases. Again, we're looking at more after this May 1st one that we just completed. We're going to need to look at future rate increases for water and sewer and capacity fee increases to help fund that gap. Any questions? I know it was a lot.
No, just every page is million. Okay.
Yeah, the construction is expensive. As all the new developments starting to go in, we are seeing where we're getting capacity restrictions. We're trying to work with developers to accommodate what they want while protecting our residents as well, to make sure that there's still capacity.
The scary part is what are these figures really going to be by the time you get started doing it?
And again, some of the numbers have been projected out for future years.
Yeah, that's what.
Competitive bidding helps.
Yeah.
Sometimes we get bids that are in less than our estimates, but I don't see construction costs going down, but I don't think they're going to go up at the rate that we saw over the past 5 years.
Good.
Well, good.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lyle.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm sure the engineer's office is happy with you too. The more you do, the more they have to do, right?
Okay, moving on. Item D is public participation. Anyone want to speak for the commissioners today? Okay, seeing no one, we'll move on to item E, consent agenda. We've had this in time to review. Do we have any corrections or deletions?
No.
I would accept a motion to approve then as presented.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second. Roll call, Gail?
Commissioner Corcoran.
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor.
Yes. Moving on to item F is the non-consent agenda. Item 10 is a recommendation that the Board of County Commissioners adopt resolution number 090-25 to approve payment to vendors in the total amount of $904,101.50 as outlined in the BCC approval invoice report for checks dated June 25th, 2025, BCC directed prepaid invoice reports, and the procurement card transaction report as presented by the county auditor on June 23rd, 2025, and further authorizing the county auditor to issue warrants to and in compliance with Section 31916 of the Ohio Revised Code. Do I have a motion to approve?
I'll make the motion.
I will second. Roll call, Gail?
Commissioner Corcoran?
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor?
Yes. Item number 11. Good morning, Sandy.
Sandy Tahat, Director of Human Resources, and on behalf of Chris McClintock, Director of Community and Economic Development, this is a recommendation to adopt a revised table of organization for the department, reallocating supervisory oversight of the planner, senior planner position to the development specialist as outlined in Exhibit A, effective June 30th, 2025, and to authorize the update of the appropriate internet links and appendices accordingly.
Thank you. We've had the reading of item number 11. Do I have a motion to approve?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Corcoran?
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor?
Yes. Item number 12.
12 is a recommendation to amend Appendix 4.09 of the Clermont County Personnel Policy and Procedure Manual with respect to the county's classification plan, upgrading the pay range for the development specialist position from pay range B to pay range C, as outlined in Exhibit A, effective June 30th, 2025, and to authorize the update of the appropriate internet links and appendices.
Thank you, Sandy. We've had the reading of item number 12. Do I have a motion to approve?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Corcoran?
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor?
Yes. Thank you. Good morning, Suki.
Item 13 is a recommendation. This is to adopt resolution number 9125 to request the State of Ohio Director of Transportation to reduce the speed limit on Crane Schoolhouse Road in Monroe and Tate Township. This is from State Route 222 to State Route 125. Currently, it's unposted, so it's 55. It's about 3.3 miles, and we're asking them to reevaluate that.
Used to live on that road. I understand.
They go flying down there.
Yeah. Okay, we've had the reading of item number 13. Do I have a motion to approve?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Corcoran?
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor?
Yes. Thank you. Lyle, you're back.
All right. So item 14 is a recommendation to adopt resolution number 092-25 to approve the revised general plans for the county wastewater system. This is a portion of the plan that I just presented within the Clermont County Water Resources Department for the proposed improvement and expansion projects at various locations within Clermont County, as outlined in the 5-year wastewater capital improvement plan for years 2025 through 2029, to authorize and direct the Clermont County Water Resources Department to perform or have performed preliminary and design engineering, preparation of detailed plans, specifications, contract documents, and estimates of cost for proposed improvement and expansion projects, to authorize the Clermont County Water Resources Department, its employees or agents, to enter onto private and/or public properties to be affected by the proposed improvement and expansion projects after sufficient notice has been sent to the property owners to perform soil investigations, surveys, appraisals, or other examinations as deemed necessary in order to finalize the preliminary or design engineering, preparation of detailed plans, specifications, contract documents, acquisition of necessary right-of-way, and estimates of costs, and further to authorize the sanitary engineer to make pre-application, nominate, and/or make application for various local, state, and federal grant or loans should such become available for funding of said improvement and expansion projects pursuant to and in compliance with Chapter 6117 of the Ohio Revised Code.
Could you repeat all that, please?
You will.
I will.
Wait till
Okay.
item 15.
We'll be here at 6 o'clock tonight.
We've had the reading of item number 14. Do I have a motion to approve?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second. Roll call?
Commissioner Corcoran? Yes. Commissioner Batchelor?
Yes. Item 15.
Item 15. This is all going to sound very familiar. So, Item 15 is a recommendation to adopt resolution number 093-25 to approve the revised general plans for the county waterworks system within the Clermont County Water Resource Department for proposed improvement and expansion projects at various locations within Clermont County as outlined in the 5-year waterworks capital improvement plan for 2025 through 2029. To authorize and direct the Clermont County Water Resource Department to perform or have performed preliminary design engineering, preparation of detailed plans, specifications, contract documents, and estimates of cost for proposed improvement and expansion projects. And to authorize the Clermont County Water Resources Department, its employees or agents to enter onto private and/or public properties to be affected by the proposed improvement and expansion projects after sufficient notice has been sent to the property owners to perform soil investigations, surveys, appraisals, or other examinations as deemed necessary in order to finalize the preliminary design engineering, prepare detailed plans, specs, contract documents, acquisition of necessary right-of-way, and estimates of cost, and further to authorize the sanitary engineer to make pre-application, nominate and/or make application for various local, state, and federal grant or loan should such become available for funding of said improvement and expansion projects pursuant to and in compliance with Chapter 6103 of the Ohio Revised Code.
Thank you. We've had the reading of item number 15. Do I have a motion to approve?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second. Roll call.
Commissioner Corcoran.
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor.
Yes.
And board, can I say that now that Lyle is leaving, we're going to shorten this motion so that it will be a lot shorter.
Thank you.
So Lyle never has to read it again, and neither does Chris.
See what we do for you, Lyle?
Just for you, Lyle. Item 16. Go out with a bang.
Is a recommendation to adopt resolution number 094-25 to determine to make improvements for the construction, operation, and maintenance of the Fay Road Water Main Replacement Project located in Goshen Township and designated as project number 6401-60207 in conformance with the detailed plan, specs, and estimates of cost and financing, and to approve the request to advertise for bids pursuant to the plans and specs, and to authorize the clerk of the board to place a legal notice in a newspaper of general circulation on Thursday, July 3rd, 2025, schedule a non-mandatory pre-bid meeting on Monday, July 21st, 2025 at 10 a.m., with bids to be received until 2:00 p.m. local time on Thursday, August 7th, 2025. Here in the office of the Board of County Commissioners, 101 East Main Street, they will be publicly open and read aloud, and the notice will also be posted on the county's homepage under legal notices. So this will replace a lot of the 1959 water main on Fay Road. It will also replace the water main on Earl Drive and Nancard Drive, which is off of Fay Road. The engineer's estimate for this is $1,786,885.
Thank you. We've had the reading of item number 17. Do I have a motion to approve?
We're on 16?
16?
Yes, sorry. I'll make the motion.
I'll second. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Corcoran.
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lyle. Good morning, Jamie.
Jamie Tanner, Assistant Director of OMB. Item 17 is a recommendation to resolve to approve and authorize changes in the annual appropriation resolution number 151-24 for calendar year 2025 pursuant to Ohio Revised Code Section 5705.40 as outlined in the following table. Just 3 supplementals, 2 from the Common Pleas Special Projects Fund, 1 for $30,000 in regular salary, 1 for $12,000 in fringe benefits, and that is to offset for staff attorneys. And the third is from the Administration of Justice Fund, $1,000 for an increase of jury supplies.
Thank you. We've had the reading of item number 17. Do I have a motion to approve?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Corcoran.
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor.
Yes. Thank you. So it's now 11 o'clock. We do have a public,
Minute and a half.
okay, can we recess for a minute and a half?
Yeah, that or we can,
Or we can, I'll ask you, do we have any additions to the agenda?
not right now.
Say that slower.
How long do I have to take? 70 seconds. Okay.
How slow?
Not at the moment.
What moment?
No additions to the agenda.
Thank you. Do you approve that?
Okay.
We can take a slight pause.
We did it?
Anyone have anything to say,
Well,
right? No, please, no.
Thank you, Lyle.
You read them just a little bit too fast. Come on, David, speed your watch up. That clock says 11 o'clock.
But do you want you want to push member comments up?
Sure.
Do that.
We could do that, thanks.
I have just one reminder that on Friday afternoon is the first actual painting that's going to be up by Kate Albert. She did it in Miami Township. It's one of the first murals that's going out for the 250 celebration. It will be at 4 p.m. It's over Miami Township, and it's, if you go to the library, it's right across the street from it at 5951 Buckwheat Road. It's in the community park, and it's really, really cool. They did a huge wrap, and everybody's going to go celebrate that the first mural is finally up and ready to roll.
And
Getting
if
ready.
you happen to go through Bethel on the end of Ben Franklin.
Only, but that will not open. But yes, you're correct. Oh, it's beautiful,
It
isn't it?
is gorgeous.
It is
Ride by and
gorgeous.
see it.
And that'll be our next one that we're going to be celebrating. Did I eat up the time for you, David?
Now we're late. Okay. Now we're going to go to item H, which is a public hearing. And Gail, you're going to take that one?
I will take that one. Today is the date, time, and location for the public hearing is published in the Clermont Sun on June 12, 2025 for the receipt of public comments relative to the request of the Miami Township Board of Trustees to change the name of Umrit Court to Lee Lavati Court, all of which is located in Miami Township, Clermont County, Ohio, and this is pursuant to and in compliance with Section 5541.04 of the Ohio Revised Code. And just a reminder, if anyone needs to sign in, they should do so at this time. And at this time, we have, if you would like to swear in, anyone who's going to testify, is there anyone here to testify? There's one person.
Look, he's already ready. Okay. I will read this to you, please. Raise the right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the statement you are about to make is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Okay.
At this time, it's the county engineer's report. Craig Reisner is here with the county engineer's office. He is the deputy surveyor, and he will read his report.
Morning.
Already correct.
Morning.
Craig Reisner, County Engineer's Office. We have a Miami Township Resolution number 2024-032 dated July 16th, 2024. And this is a resolution supporting a name change of Umrit Court, Township Road 3139 to Lee Lavati Court, Township Road 3138. We've reviewed this. The engineer's office has no opposition to the requested road name change, and there are no existing addresses on Umrit Court. So if the board chooses to change this name, there will be no effect on addressing. So we have, I would like to read the description. It's real quick. This is the entirety of Umrit Court in Miami Township, beginning at a point in the center line of Wolf Pen Pleasant Hill Road in Umrit Court, thence north 86, 25, 15 west, 278 feet to the westerly dead end of Umrit Court, being all of Umrit Court as shown in Wolf Pen Commercial Subdivision recorded in Plat Cabinet 12, page 41 of the Clermont County Recorder's Office. So this is a subdivision from 2004. And there's two streets in the subdivision, Umrit Court and Lee Lavati. They were both dead-ended. They were both cul-de-saced, and they were never intended to intersect. In the original design, they were never intended to intersect. UDF purchased the property several years ago, and now they own several of the lots in this subdivision, and they decided to redevelop the subdivision and connect Umrit Court and Lee Lavati. So now instead of two dead ends, we have a looping road that connects. Our subdivision regulations prohibit changing the name of the road, so the road name has to be continuous. So you can't drive down Umrit and magically when you reach some point, the road name change. So we've been requiring this road name change. I looked it up since December of 2022. So this is some time coming to get this road name change. The connection has been completed. It was built in accordance with the plan that was approved by the Planning Commission. It's not a public road yet. So this is the first step. If the board chooses to change this name, the next step will be a dedication plat and a 1-year maintenance bond. And at that point, the road could be accepted as a Miami Township road, and the entire road name will be Lee Levati. That's all based on if the board chooses to make the road name change.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Craig. At this time, we'll take comments. Anyone in favor of the proposed name change can speak.
Hi, Tim Kling, Director of Real Estate Construction for UDF. I'm just here to really answer any questions, and Craig did a great job of explaining kind of why we're here today. So in addition to the UDF that we built there on the corner, it created roughly 2 acre parcels that would be serviced by that Lee Levati, as well as there's another interior access road that will remain private, that be maintained by us. So.
Thank you.
Is there anyone here in opposition to the proposed name change? We have not received any comments or correspondence regarding the proposed name change here in our office. The only thing we did receive was, of course, the Miami Township resolution. So if there are no comments, we can close the public hearing at this time.
Okay. So at this time,
Yes, and we can go back into regular session.
okay, thank you. So at this time, we would have to do an add-on.
The board wants to consider that.
If the board would like to consider it, we do have a resolution prepared to in favor of the name change.
Do I have a motion for an add-on?
A motion, I'll make the motion.
I will second that. Roll call, Gail?
Commissioner Corcoran?
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor?
Yes. So at this time, I would accept the motion to approve this.
I'll go ahead and read it if you like.
Okay, do that, Gail.
This is a recommendation to adopt resolution number 095-25, resolving to change the name of Umrit Court, Township Road 3139 to Lee Levati Court, located within Miami Township, Clermont County, Ohio. As described therein, having found there is good cause for the name change, the name change will not be detrimental to the general interest pursuant to section 5541.04 of the Ohio Revised Code.
Thank you. Do I have a motion to approve?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Corcoran?
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor?
Yes. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you for coming. I appreciate it. So at this time, we'll move on to I, county staff, elected officials. Hi, Jessica.
I'm filling in for Brian Marshall. He had to run to another meeting, unfortunately. So I do have some handouts for you guys.
Sure.
Pass them down.
That's fine.
All right. So these are some packets.
Thank you.
This is for the public defenders renovation that we're doing currently. We have already started the update inside the building. We're working on getting the exterior of the addition finished up, and it should be finished by the end of July. So this is kind of a last minute kind of thing that we needed to bring to your attention to see how we wanted to move forward. What I've given you guys is some color schemes for updating the building. Since we're doing a renovation on the inside, we thought maybe we could go ahead and add some nice color and clean it up a little bit on the exterior of the building as well. So the first one is a light gray color. This is a visualizer from Sherwin-Williams, just to give you an idea of the colors. It would be using the ultra white color for all the trim, a light gray, and then a dark blue for like the shutters. The next one is a tan color. It's difficult to see on the printed paper. I apologize. So again, we would use the white color trim, the tan siding, and then a blue. And we can change the color from blue, green. There's different colors you can pick from. I just kind of thought that it would be a new upfront, like a little facelift for the building, something that's a little bit fresher and more up to date at this point. The third page is the current expansion. So you can kind of see the progress where we are currently. And then again, the shutters are kind of dingy. They're looking pretty down. It has all brown trim with some red accents, which kind of gives it a little bit of an older look and feel to it. So just giving a fresh paint, coat of paint would be really nice. The contractor is under contract to go ahead and repaint everything. So if they repaint what's currently there with the same colors, they can do that. Obviously, if we want to freshen it up some, do white instead of the brown trim, if we wanted to use the same color scheme, like the tan and the green, we can still do that. That would kind of match the Common Pleas court that's down there. But again, updating the colors would be nice, I think. The fourth page here is the light gray. This is a very generic rendering through AI, just trying to get the color schemes of the white trim. It kind of gives you a clearer look of like the actual how nice and clean it's going to feel if you do these types of colors. The blue did not come through very well, as you can tell on the shutters. But on the next page, you can see the actual shutters that we're proposing to put on there. Again, it didn't come through very well. That is a dark navy color.
It was
So
pretty. What you showed me yesterday was very pretty.
yes. So it is, when you look at it on here, it doesn't print out very well. And it's difficult to get a rendering to you guys of the actual colors, but Sherwin-Williams is kind of probably the best rendering that we could do. However, it's on a residential house, and this is kind of a residential looking property. So
Are we doing the door too or not?
we can do the door, or we can do it white. And I'm kind of back and forth on that. I don't know what you guys would like to move forward.
Getting rid of the red door, though.
Yes, I would definitely. So the rendering with the AI that gave all white trim and then just the blue shutters, kind of liked that because there's not going to be any deviation from the shutters to the door. So that's one of the reasons why I liked that. But at the same time, I like the blue pop. So I mean, it's really up to you guys. It's just me.
Well, you know
I like
me,
TV
blue is my favorite color.
I think at the very minimum, the Common Pleas Courthouse, which we kind of want to, it's right across the street. So you kind of want to match or blend that a little bit. They have all white trim, correct?
Okay.
Are their doors white?
I'm sorry.
Are the doors white?
All their doors are white.
So I think that's why she's showing the sample of the white trim
That's
and the
fine.
white doors, just to tie that in a little bit. I think the
Nice.
Common Pleas currently has green. Their shutters are green.
Which is about
But
the
we're
same.
just trying to give you an idea of what Common Pleas looks like because it is part of the county building. Yeah, which is fine.
They
But,
spray paint their shutters.
Yeah. Tell them to paint their shutters.
Yeah.
right.
So there is, I did just discuss with Brian Marshall, he was getting prices on this. So what we currently have for our shutters, one of the main reasons that we were bringing this up is that the current shutters that are there, we can't get those to go on the rest of the addition. So we would either need to get all new shutters for the entire thing, which is, again, where you pick the color and it's going, which one do we really want to go with? Or we could have them paint those and then buy new shutters, and they might not be exact. And so there's a price difference. It's about $5,000 max. I don't know how you guys would want to move forward with that, but that's probably for a different day. I just want to keep that in mind whenever we move forward with picking colors and stuff. That's one of the main reasons we brought this up. So,
Like it.
all right.
Very nice.
All right. Those,
Is there a choice?
We need-
is there
Yeah.
white trim.
There's
with
a
door,
White,
Do you want the
White
first
trim.
one or the second one? There's
white
two
trim, white
choices.
door,
What's the darkest one that you showed the other day? That's
dark
the
blue
one.
shutters and
Yeah.
And the gray
or the
Or the tan.
skyline steel.
Yeah, there's the siding colors we have either as the like tan like it is currently, it would mix, but at the same time, there's also the gray. So it's kind of, I think
Which is the one you showed me yesterday?
that would be the gray, the guild gray with the dress blue
Okay,
shutters.
That's what I like. Tom.
that's the one.
That kind of goes along with, and part of this was going down Main Street and looking at the streetscape to see what colors are currently there,
Good.
what would kind of blend and kind of stand out at the same time. So,
Great.
all right. So we will move forward. White trim. Do you want a white door or blue door? Does that?
We'll do the white if it matches what we got down the
Okay.
street.
All right. Sounds good. Thank you guys very much.
Thank you,
Good, thank
Jessica. Okay, anyone else, county staff? Ralph, you have anything for us today? Okay,
Nothing further.
nothing further than item K. Do I have a motion for adjournment?
Make the motion.
I'll second. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Corcoran?
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor?
Yes. Thank you for attending. There will not be a meeting next week, right, Gail?
That is correct.
Because of a holiday week.
Because of the holiday, and we are at our 29th meeting today of this year.
Okay, well, we'll see you the following week then.